Hello, I'm here to chat with you today about my 6-step formula to creating and cultivating change. There's certain areas of our lives where, in our health, I say specifically, where things come really easy, right? It's easy to make change, it's easy to stick to things, and there's other areas that it's not. And same goes for our energy. If you wake up one day and expect to feel the same every single day, we know that's not reality, right? We don't wake up feeling the same every single day. So again, our energy, it ebbs and flows, right? That's natural, that happens. And the same happens with our momentum and our motivation, right? Motivation to make a change today might look a little different tomorrow. We still have the change, the desire in mind, but in order to get there, the motivation might be different today. And I'm really here to share all of that with you today, the 6-step formula that I use in my own life, what I use when I coach and when I educate people. How do we make those changes that we want to make simply and sustainably so that we're not always feeling like we're on and again, off again? And those feelings are natural. They're things that we're going to go through no matter what changes we're making, whether it's our health, in our business, in our life, right? We're always going to have those feelings that we're taking 2 steps forward and 1 back. That's a natural thing. But how do we stay consistent within that? Okay, so that's what I'm going to chat with you about today. For those of you new to me, my name is Christy Ware. I'm a holistic health coach, speaker, and the author of Synergize Your Health, the 6 Elements for Greater Vitality and Joy. All right, let's dive in. So step number 1 to cultivating change. What do? Well, first we need a desire, right? We need a desire. We have to have something anchored in that we know that we want. And that desire has got to be so strong that we know we're worth it. We're going to put in the time and energy to get where we want to go. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's step 1. The desire has to come from somewhere. Hey, Michelle, thanks so much for being here. We're just talking about the 6-step formula to creating and cultivating change. Okay, so we're on number 1. First thing is our desire. Okay, that's what we're talking about. We need to have the desire that we can reach that goal, right? And it's got to be something anchored in that we know exactly what that desire is. Okay, step number 2, we need a map. We need a plan, right? We need a game plan. We wouldn't go into a big major purchase of a house, let's say, without a game plan, right? We wouldn't just go in and buy a house and give somebody all our money. We'd have a plan in place of what needs to happen before we got to that purchase, right? And the same thing happens with our health, with our lifestyle. We need a plan, whether that looks like hiring a coach, having a mentor, using a calendar to map out what you're gonna do, right? Getting the food that you need if you're making some dietary changes, right? Making sure you got that support system in place that's going to see you through when times get rough, right? So yes, number 2 is making that plan, mapping it out. That's number 2. Number 3, and maybe the most important of all, taking action, right? We have desires and goals and things that we want to achieve, but if we don't take action on them, then how can we get there, right? So we want to take action. And when I talk about taking action, this is kind of a little side note on step number 3, but when people are looking to make change, I introduce something called habitual layering. So we don't want to make 10 changes at once and layer everything on and suddenly we're like, oh my gosh, I can't do it all and now I'm going to give up on it, right? So we make 1 change at a time, maybe 2, depending on what they are. Those small changes start to become habit, right? That's where the layering comes in. We get the habit in place and we continue to take the action. When that thing gets easy or habitual, we don't have to think about it as much. It might take a week, it might take a month. Then we layer on the next thing. And that's when we're able to make change that lasts. If we try to do everything all at once, change your eating habits and exercise more and drink more water and get better sleep, and we try to do all the things, then we get paralyzed. It's really easy to just drop off and do nothing. Okay, so number 3, yes, baby steps. You're absolutely right. Baby steps to get where you want to go. Okay, and we need to take the action on those baby steps. And it could be something small, but we still want to take them. And when we take action, that leads us into step number 4, which is creating momentum. Okay, so momentum, if you think about a rock, let's say you take a rock and you roll it down a big hill. What happens as that rock goes down the hill? It starts getting faster, right? And it starts gaining momentum on its own. You don't have to push it anymore. It's just going for it. So that's what happens for us in our health, in our lifestyle. When we start to make change and we gain momentum, that momentum picks up speed and we no longer have to force it. We no longer have to push it. It just does it on its own. And not that I want you to start pushing for things that you want, but we have to have back to that desire and have to take the action. And when we take the action, we gain the momentum to take more actions. Right? So we take 1 action today, and maybe by a year from now, you've taken 10 actions in your health and your lifestyle, and they're all working, right? We're all habitual, we're all falling into place, routines are happening, and we're starting to feel really good. Okay? So momentum's interesting. Sometimes it's hard to achieve the momentum, but again, if we start slow, it starts to pick up speed, and then we can add more momentum to that by adding on new things. Okay? Step number 5, we're looking at consistency. Okay? So nothing can be ever accomplished if we don't have practice and consistency. If we stay consistent with things, we're going to see results. That's just how it works. It doesn't matter if it's in your lifestyle, in your health, in your work, whatever. Again, I'm using these same analogies. Consistency just happens, right? We keep doing something and eventually we stay consistent with it and we see the result that we're looking for. And I want to give you a really good example about consistency. I think people get really tripped up in thinking that consistency needs to look the same every day. And the truth is it doesn't. So let's use an example here. I've got a client who I'm coaching online right now, him and his family, and husband and wife, and I'm coaching them, and he messaged me today and said, hey, I'm having a really hard time staying consistent with our workouts. I know that I committed to doing 3 a week and we missed this week, and I'm feeling really like I just don't want to do it. I don't know why I'm not inspired. What's the deal? And I said, this is perfect. This is what I need to share about today. I need to talk about this. So where does consistency come from? It comes from within us to want to do it. We need that desire, right? But consistency can look like today I might be doing a workout and it might only last 10 minutes, but I did something. And tomorrow I might want to ride my bike and I don't want to do my workout, but that's okay. We're being consistent with something. We don't have to have that exact, black and white that it has to look the same every single day or else we're not getting anywhere. It doesn't have to look like that. It's more you taking the action, and if you committed to 30 minutes but you only got 15 in, guess what? We're still being consistent. We made an effort and we tried to continue to do it. We did our best. Okay, so that's what consistency is all about. It doesn't have to look the same every day. We don't need to, follow the blueprint every single day exactly. Some days your body's not going to like that, and we have to, divert the plan a little. It doesn't mean you failed. There's no fail, right? It gave you feedback. How did I feel today? And we backtrack. Well, guess what? When I do that thing consistently, I feel better, and I want to do more of it. Okay, so that's what him and I talked about today. So that's number 5. Number 6 is the belief. We have to believe that the goals and the things and the desire that we want, going back to that step 1, we have to believe it's possible and that we can do it, right? So it comes back to ourself. Do we believe in ourselves it's possible? Did we set realistic expectations for ourselves, right? Are they clear? Are the expectations that you have clear? Are the desires that you want to achieve, right? Is it something totally doable? What are those goals? Do they align with your beliefs of what you want for yourself and your lifestyle, right? So we got to get really clear. And if we get tripped up on step 6, the belief, we're going to go back to step 1. What was the desire that motivated you to get going in the first place, right? And so when we look at all those steps in line, again, it's a rinse and repeat. It can be around your health, can be around your lifestyle, can be around your work. It's a rinse and repeat, putting that formula into play. So again, I'm going to go through those really quick. Number 1 was the desire. We have to have the desire. Number 2 is the map. Number 3 is taking the action. Number 4 is gaining momentum. Number 5 is consistency. And number 6 is the belief that it's possible. Okay? So again, even in the face of adversity, even in the face where you're faced with challenges, things aren't working out as the way you'd like them to, we always come back to those 6 steps and go through them again and see where you got tripped up and go back and figure out, okay, where could I give myself a little more attention? What area am I struggling most with, right? And come back to that formula. This formula can be applied to anything that you're doing. I'm a health coach. That's where I apply it. You can apply it to anything that you're using in your life, any changes that you want to make. And one thing that's very interesting about this 6-step formula is that I'd like to share a personal story around meditation. So years ago, I learned about meditation. I learned, research stated that it was, great for my focus and great for my health and lowered my blood pressure, and it made me feel better in my body, and I could create and manifest things in my visualizations, and I could, tap into source, all these things that I heard about. But I didn't think it was for me. I was like, oh, I don't think so. That's not really for me. This is over probably a decade ago when I first learned about meditation. Well, about 3 or 4 years ago, I finally decided, okay, meditation's something I really want to put into practice. I want to try this. I want to see what happens when I do it. Well, guess what? About a month ago, I looked at my wife, I looked at Flora, and I said, hey, guess what? I think meditation's finally working for me. I've been consistent enough that I think I'm actually reaping the benefit from it. And I know it's taken years to get there. Not that the benefit all along wasn't worth it. I knew it was worth it, or else I wouldn't have continued. But really, the end result was that I continued to do it, and I'm finally starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel it in my body. I believed it was possible, and I stayed consistent. I had the desire to make it happen, and I knew it could help me in my health. And guess what? I'm still doing it 3 years later, and now I'm seeing the result and the reward. Okay, I'm physically feeling it and seeing it. So again, we can make changes around anything, and we'll come back to that formula, and I hope this will be helpful for you to make the changes you're looking to make. So this is how I put the 6 elements into play in my life. I literally took the 6 elements and said, okay, what areas of my life am I feeling most challenged by, and how do I get there, and how do I help others do the same? So the 6 elements that I talk about, that I coach on, that I live in my life are rest, movement, connection, nutrition, mindfulness, and self-love. And what I believe and what I have seen through my own personal experience and that of my clients is when those 6 elements are synergized, when they work together, they create a sense of greater vitality, joy, happiness, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I've seen in my life. That's what I've seen in the clients that I work with. So I hope this formula helps you put those things into practice, take those elements, take those desires, and use the formula to create and cultivate the change that you're looking to make. And if you haven't already picked up my book, I encourage you to check it out. Synergize Your Health, the 6 Elements for Greater Vitality and Joy. Love to know what you think. And if you do purchase the book, whether it's through Kindle or paperback, please leave me a review on Amazon. It would help me reach a bigger audience and help me share my wisdom and knowledge with so many more people. So thank you so much for being here, and have an amazing day.